Scott Adams is the creator of Dilbert. For those of you that have been living under a rock, Dilbert is largely like a comic based character that is created, sold to, and usually lives a lot of times in a lot of newspapers and things like that. So Scott Adams has made a lot of money off of Dilbert. And now Scott Adams has a YouTube channel, and I think it's called Coffee Time with Scott Adams or something like that. And he has like 135,000 subscribers, and it's wild because before this story came out about how it was that he felt about black people specifically, and I'm going to play it. Before this thing came out in which he live streamed and he gave his perspective about black people, and I have not heard it. I've just been hearing everybody talk about it, such as D.L. Hughley. Whenever D.L. Hughley talk about something that's running in the Victim Olympics, I know it's a strong possibility that he's wrong. And so Scott Adams had some strong words to say, and he's in the news, and everybody is calling for cancel culture for Scott Adams. So I want to mine it out. I want to react to it in real time. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. And then in addition to that, make sure you tap into the Patreon today, March 1st, the third month of the year. It's about to be the first quarter closing. It's the best day for you to be able to tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's mine it out. I think I'm going to have to scrub through a little bit because this was like a 50-minute live stream, but it was a specific point earlier in the live stream that people told me that he started talking about his relationship with black people or how he felt about something black related. So let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen.
Scott Adams is the finest thing that's ever happened in the universe since the beginning of time. We don't know about parallel universes, but I believe, I have a strong intuition that this is the best thing that's happened in any of those parallel universes. And if you want to take it up to a level where there's no doubt, this is the finest moment of your life, well, then all you need is a cup or a mug or a glass, a tankard, chalice, or stein, a canteen.
All right, let me see if I can scrub through this and find out what he's talking about.
Be the best, the best boxer on these particular topics. I like the fact, he doesn't, he's not focused on the fact that he's, a person of color. I like the fact that that's not
looks like we might have arrived.
Pitch, but of course it is. We all understand that it's part of the context. Did you notice that yesterday I tweeted that he said he wanted to decimate the cartels, and I did a dickish writer thing where I got pedantic about his use of the word decimate. But as of today, he's using the word annihilate instead of decimate. He may or may not have seen the tweet. I don't know.
See if I can fast
we do follow each other. Everybody will figure it out. You just have to be smart. So I guess that's what caught my ear when he had a use of the word. There's no way that Trump could do that. Am I right? How in the world could Trump do away with affirmative action? I mean, he could say it a few times, but he couldn't do it. Smart. So I guess that's what caught my ear when he had a use of the word decimate. That I do acknowledge as entering common usage, but I just liked it a little bit better with more precise language. I think the world is ready for this fight. And I think especially the stuff on affirmative action, there's no way that Trump could do that. Am I right? How in the world could Trump do away with affirmative action? I mean,
Not
he could
really
say it a few times, but he couldn't do it.
I'm trying to see what he said specifically.
I don't think he could do it because it would just look racist. But that's, Vivek Ramaswamy would have the advantage there, if that's what you want. So he seems to have matched Trump in terms of toughness on the drug cartels. He would annihilate that. But there wasn't any flight. So let's just say he planned it and it didn't work out because that's bad for Putin.
I don't see anything
anymore.
Yeah. Okay, let me see.
On a logical basis, the one thing that Putin could do to let a provocative little poll today,
okay, I think
they said, do you agree or disagree with the statement, it's okay to be white?
All right, I think this is it.
That was an actual question. Rasmussen asked, white and black voters, and probably others, Do you disagree or agree with the statement, it's okay to be white? 26% of blacks said no. It's not okay to be white.
So a fourth.
21% weren't sure. Add them together, that is 47% of black respondents.
That's correct.
Were not willing to say it's okay to be white.
So I guess this is the foundation of why he started to go off the rails, or why he started to say whatever it is that he's saying, right? This is the context behind him saying, I guess, whatever it is that he's going to say. I'm hoping that I screw up to the right moment. I'm curious to see what the sample size is, but regardless, and this is one of the reasons why I hate using percentages without seeing a sample size, because you can poll 100 people in one specific neighborhood, or are you in Chicago or are you in Miami or whatever? Either way, I think that that's a pretty stupid statement to say, for people to say it's not okay to be something that you can't control. But let me continue to hear the context.
That's like a real poll. This just happened. Did you have any idea? Would you have imagined that that could have happened? So I realized, as you know, I've been identifying as black for a while, years now.
What?
Because I like to be on the winning team.
What?
And I like to help. And I always thought, well, if you help the black community, that's sort of the biggest lever. You can find the biggest benefit. So I thought, well, that's the hardest thing and the biggest benefit. So I'd like to focus a lot of my life resources in helping black Americans. So much so.
So, all right. So let me just try to parse this through. All right. He's been focusing on helping the black community, and he's been dedicating his resources. So he's been pouring money into and investing into what's happening within the black community. A. B, he's now then, and I had this conversation with y'all. It's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope in that being able or letting people be able to identify with whatever it is that they want to identify as. Maybe I should be a cat tomorrow. This all started with the alphabet community. And the alphabet community has largely leaned on being in the Victim Olympics, which we now use as the jump-off point in order to justify identifying as whatever we... Nikki Haley, I had that conversation when we was talking about how Don Lemon had said whatever he said about Nikki Haley being over the hump or over the wall. And she said that, oh, you just don't like people from the Asian community. And it's like, ma'am, you whiter than white, right? But being able to identify as whatever it is that you want to identify, and I don't know if he's being sarcastic or not, but being able to identify as whatever it is that you want to identify as is wild to me. But I'm just taking it at his word, right? I don't know exactly what it is that he's getting at yet. I'm going to be reading Super Chat shortly. I appreciate y'all.
Oh, that I started identifying as black to just be on the team I was helping. But it turns out that nearly half of that team doesn't think I'm okay to be white.
Yo, Dilbert or Scott Adams, whatever you want to identify as. They don't fuck with me either. A large portion of the black community don't mess with me because they don't like the way I say it. They call me a cute. Listen, they call me a coon. What makes you think that they're going to mess with you, Dilbert? They don't mess with me. Listen, black men are having a hard time wrangling in their own women. What you thought that they was going to rock with you? Black men are having a hard time trying to get their own households and their own women in order. What makes you think that they was going to embrace you? Because you gave them some money? Because you advocated for a cause? Because you was riding in the Victim Olympics? And they don't give a fuck about you, Dilbert. The minute that they don't like something that you saying, they're going to be like, thank you for your money and get the fuck out of my house. Boy, you don't know black people at all. You don't know our community. We don't even like each other. We celebrate the things that's the worst for us. We advocate against the thing that's the best for us. Dilbert, we don't like each other. That's why we sold ourselves to your race in order to come over here and build up America. We don't even like each other. Listen, it's one thing to sell somebody else that don't even identify or look like you. Not saying that it's right. It's one thing to engage in a trade against the people that actually don't even look like you. But for us to sell ourselves to you in order to make a couple more dollars, we sold our daughters, we sold our sons, we sold our uncles, we sold who we thought was warring tribes, and now we supposed to be coming together as a community. We don't even like each other that look like each other if they say that they immigrants. We say that we separate ourselves with blood and Crips, African descendants of slaves. Our women don't like us. The men don't like the women. The women don't like the men. Cynthia G never liked Kevin Samuels. What you thought? You was going to come in and unify us? The only thing that we rally behind is Bill Clinton. Half of us don't even like OJ, and half of us do like OJ. Half of us don't. Boy, you in for a treat today, Dilbert. Let me finish hearing what it is that he's saying.
Which is, of course, why I identified as black, because so I could be on the winning team for a while. But I have to say, this is the first political poll that ever changed my activities. I don't know that that's ever happened before. Normally you see a poll, you just look at it, you go, whatever. Oh, this is interesting what other people think. But as of today, I'm going to re-identify as white because I don't want to be a member of a hate group. I'd accidentally joined a hate group. So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group.
Welcome to the club. Now, listen, I did a show yesterday in which a member of the white community decided that he wanted to go to a HBCU, and because he wasn't Eminem and he didn't fit in and he wasn't battle rapping, yo, palms are heavy, knees weak, arms is ready. It's sweater on my mom's spaghetti. Purpose. He looked nervous, but he's calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud when he opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. Snap back to reality. Yup, it goes rabbity. Yup, they don't even like Eminem. Eminem gave you your favorite villain. He gave you 50 Cent. He made Dr. Dre rich again. They don't like him either. They don't like MGK. They don't like Eminem. Y'all don't like Bubba Sparks. Y'all don't like the Beastie Boys. Y'all didn't like MC Serch, even though he helped make Nas rich. Lose yourself in the music the moment you want it. You better never let it go. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow, because opportunity comes once in a lifetime. You better look. Is the black community a hate group? Could we? This is a good way to be able to honestly have this conversation. This is a good way to have this conversation. Let me tell you how. If you take the behavior of the people that you identify with the most and you slap a completely different color skin on it, would you identify that group as the enemy and as a hate group? Let me say it again. If you take what it is that we do, say, and feel, and what we say in our living rooms, when ain't nobody else even looking. Nowadays, we don't even care. We just going to say it no matter what. If you take what it is that we say and how we say it against other communities, other people, and even against ourselves, and you slap a completely different paint on it, a completely different color of skin on it, would you be outraged? Would you say that that is a community of people that are hateful? Woo! Woo! It's getting hot in here. It is getting hot in here.
That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going. The best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people.
Woo! Y'all didn't want to hear that. Y'all thought that y'all was gonna keep talking about white people and they wasn't gonna buck back. If you corner a mutt, if you push a dog into a corner and you continue to piss it off long enough, eventually it's gonna growl and it's gonna bite you. It's gonna find a way to get out of that corner. Y'all thought that y'all was gonna keep bullying these good old white people and that they wasn't gonna push back at you? You thought that you was gonna get away with it? You thought that they was just gonna sit here, take it, and that they was just gonna feel a certain type of way about it, and they was just gonna let you keep slapping them up the side. The most hated, segregated against, and treated the worst man in the United States of America today is a white male. It's not a black man. It's not an Asian. It's not black women. It's not none of that. The public enemy number one to the overwhelming majority of people, and one of the reasons is that these white people lost control. See, when they had a handle on this country, and it wasn't every tongue over here and every city wasn't a melting pot and all of this other type of stuff, they could then control what was happening because you aspired to be like them. And to an extent, we still do the same thing. We don't pick up our trash unless we in a white community. We don't want to not park on the grass because we in the white community. The level of self-hate is real because we don't even like ourselves. So how can you then champion and like somebody else or show love, forgiveness, empathy, any one of the things that you need in order to create a great community meaning that you have different people from all walks of life that look different, that talk different, so on and so forth. How can you look to understand or love one another? Because the Bible does not say only love black people or only love Asians or only hate yourself. How can you love somebody else and you don't even like yourself? You don't like your skin. You don't like light-skinned people. You don't like dark-skinned people. You don't like people with rough hair. She got to be Keisha with the Asian hair and all of this. You don't even like yourself. You don't even want to wash your skin. Your pants is hanging below your knees, the whole 9 yards. And so you thought that you were going to continue to segregate yourself or divest yourself and say some of the most egregious things against that person, and they just going to take it. They still supposed to hire you, right? They still supposed to do business with you. They still supposed to want you in their neighborhood when they know that you're going to come in, smoke weed, and not give a fuck about them, and then talk about them and say that cracker over there. But you still expecting for them to treat you equal. Well, Dilbert right here is now saying the thing that a lot of people was probably saying inside of their households that you're not privy to. And it's not that they're against you. It's that they don't like what's being done to them in the same way that black people don't like it. And this is one of the reasons why the word says you cannot fight hate with hate. You can't do it. You just make the fire bigger and then everything becomes more combustible. People hate each other and then it becomes war and then nobody wins and everybody wants to run in the Victim Olympics and then their kids come along and then their kids come along. And then when the kids come along, they say we're still being discriminated against even though they never suffered any kind of slavery or was a part of that war in the first place.
Get the fuck away. Wherever you have to go, just get away.
He said get the fuck away.
Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed.
Talk to him, Dilbert.
Right, this can't be fixed. You just have to escape.
He said it's over.
So that's what I did. I went to a neighborhood where...
The same way that y'all running away from the black women and y'all getting passport bros, they getting passports in the different neighborhoods and they said separate ourselves from you.
I have a very low black population because unfortunately there's a high correlation between the density. And this is according to Don Lemon, by the way. So here I'm just quoting Don Lemon when he notes that when he lived in a mostly black neighborhood, there were a bunch of problems that he didn't see in white neighborhoods. So even Don Lemon sees a big difference.
Somebody in the chat said, I don't even live where I grew up. Where's my office at? Where am I at right now? I am literally in the inner city of Detroit, across the street from the Health and Human Services building, where I give out over $250 a day, and I ensure that I help the community and I pour back into and I pay my tax dollars, and I bought up land and I'm building tiny houses in the neighborhood that I grew up in. Who the fuck you talking to? You better check my records. You better check my receipts, homie. Make sure y'all tap into the. Don't get me started today because I will fuck y'all up. I literally just did a whole video that I dropped on my Anton Daniels channel yesterday that said that I can't leave Detroit, that I will always have a residence, I will always have an office here, and I'm always going to be paying my taxes and pouring into my community despite the fact that I don't even like the fucking governor and what they doing here. I literally just dropped the video less than 24 hours ago on my other channel that just talked about my love for and how it is that I advocate for and why I live and pour my resources into my own city. Don't fuck with me today. I'm not playing no games. I'm going to turn into Dilbert, and that's going to be the end of this conversation. I will end this shit. I will end you. Now, boy, y'all better remember who you talking to. Now, what the fuck you did for your community? You fucking Pookie. I hate you.
Their own quality of living based on where you live and who's there. So I think it makes no sense whatsoever as a white citizen of America to try to help black citizens anymore.
I agree.
It doesn't make sense.
I agree.
It's no longer a rational impulse. And so I'm gonna back off from being helpful to black America because it doesn't seem like it pays off.
Facts.
Like I've been doing it all
Save
my life.
Save yourself, white man.
And
Save yourself.
The only outcome is I get called a racist.
So?
That's the only outcome.
So they was going to call you anyway.
It makes no sense.
Dilbert, they were going to call you a man from Caucasus that don't like black people anyway the minute that they got mad at you. You might as well accelerate the process.
Black Americans, if you're white. It's over. Don't even think it's worth trying. Totally not trying. Now, we should be friends.
Somebody said I switch between being black and white. No, the only thing that I'm switching is the positions that I'm fucking your mother on. That's what I switch. Sometimes I switch and I like to look at her missionary so that I can kiss her in her mouth and then I can make sure that you kiss her in her mouth when I'm done with her. And then other times I like to turn her over from the back because I don't want her looking at me because whenever I see her, I see you because y'all look alike and then you her son. That's the only thing that I'm switching up is the position depending on whether or not I see you and her. And she keep talking too much. As long as she quiet, I'm cool. But as long as she keep talking, she remind me of you, and so I got to flip her over. It's the only thing I'm switching over. Punk ass.
Friendly. Like I'm not saying start a war or do anything bad. Nothing like that. I'm just saying get away. Just get away. And here's my take on all of it.
Talk to him, Dilbert.
Everybody who focuses their priority on education does well. If anybody in the black community focuses on education, they'll do well as well.
Yep. Y'all wanted to save yourself. Y'all keep talking about we should have been segregated. We did better when we was on our own. The only thing that stopped us was when they bombed Tulsa and all of that. Okay. Well, then do your own. Get your own banks. Get your own schools. Don't ask for nothing from the white community because I do a business with people based off of character. Now, I love my people simply because it's just the way in which I grew up. It's the demographic in which I exist in. And the majority of the people that I love and support and do business with are black people. So I'm automatically going to advocate for the best for you because those are the people that surround me the most. But it doesn't mean that you gotta hate a completely different demographic of people or that you're gonna separate yourself based off of whatever. It's the dumbest thing ever. We all gotta exist within the same environment and we all need each other. Now, does that mean that I can't have a preference for you? Absolutely not. Does that mean that I can't have a bias for you? Absolutely not. But when you start talking about hate and prejudice, that's a completely different thing. And when somebody takes a poll and they say to you, it's not okay to even be the thing that you were born, that you can't even help, how would you like it if somebody told you that it's not okay to be a woman? It's not okay to be black. It's not okay to be born in the city that you were born in, that you then love and support and you advocate for and you pour all of your resources in. It would hurt your feelings. It would hurt your feelings. But you expected to be treated better than you treat yourself. And you expect for this good, wholesome white man who draws awesome cartoons to come and advocate for you because of what again? I'm reading Super Chat shortly. Shout out to all of my people in the chat.
The system allows that. If they don't, I can't make that my problem anymore. It just can't be my problem. It can't be my problem if the solution is so clear, so available, and people don't want to take it. It's just not my problem anymore. So I resigned. I resigned from the hate group called Black Americans, according to the Rasmussen poll. 46% of them don't think white people are okay, just being white. And there we go.
Talk to him, Dilbert.
You didn't expect that today, did you?
I didn't, Dilbert. But I'm glad that you said it. One of the reasons why I'm glad that Dilbert said it is because I believe that Dilbert, specifically, Scott Adams here, is right. I think that he's right. I think that it's very difficult to advocate for and to require somebody to abide by a standard that you don't first abide by yourself. Why should he advocate for the very people that say that I hate you? Why should he put his money and his resources and pay tax dollars just for the federal government to take it and give it to people that don't even fuck with him in the first place? You don't even give money to your own girlfriend and she holds your kid because you don't like that hoe. And she pissed you off and she would not give you no sex last night. And so now you on the panel talking about how you don't like women and all of this other type of stuff and you want me to advocate on your behalf. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And I don't think that, you know what I've noticed? Let me conclude this by saying this. You know what I noticed? I've noticed that as I get older, and older people in general, they care less and less every single day about what other people think about them. They care less and less about how it is that they say it, and they're not trying to run in the Victim Olympics, and they don't believe that they should subject themselves to your way of thinking just because you feel a certain type of way. I don't have any problem with what Dilbert said. I think that Dilbert was absolutely, positively correct. If you turn the tables and remove your emotion from it, and you take exactly how it is that black people, the overwhelming, some of your friends, your mama, your daddy, your grandma, I'm going to tell you an uncomfortable truth, and then I'm going to read the super chats. Your mama, your grandma, your daddy, they are hateful. They are full. This is what they say in the church. Full of the devil. Full of the devil. They got so much black hate in their heart. It's killing them. It's killing them. They will mess up their own situation just because they hate somebody else that they don't even know, instead of evaluating each individual on their own merits and making an informed decision. They hate them. You hate yourself. Whenever you hate somebody else because of something that they can't control and not because of something that that particular person did to you, you hate yourself. You hate yourself. And to be honest with you, the poll is disturbing, but I'd like to see that poll. If anybody can find that poll that Dilbert is talking about, because I want to see the sample size. I want to see where it was taken. I want to know the details of the poll. But for almost 50% of black people to say that it's not okay to be white, and then you going to get mad at, that's like getting mad at the person that laughed at the joke that was told on you. Don't get mad at the person that laughed. Get mad at the people that said the joke in the first place. All he did was react to what other people were saying against him. If half people say that they don't fuck with you and fuck you, and you shouldn't even be born, what did you think that the response was going to be? You thought that they was going to go down kneeling? You thought that it was going to be cool? Honestly, I don't think that Dilbert give a fuck. I think that Dilbert has been making so much money, and he's grown to a space to where he finally can say what it is that he's saying. I looked at Dilbert's live stream this morning, and Dilbert had like 5,000 people in that live stream. I don't think Dilbert is tripping off of what y'all feel about him being removed from a newspaper. Newspapers is dying anyway. Newspapers are dying anyway. He don't care. He probably said this so that he can pivot more effectively, and now he's starting to get the attention that he feel like he deserves. So I don't necessarily disagree with anything that he said. Y'all probably disagree with me, but what else is new? What haven't you disagreed with?